today's video, I'm playing Project Hospital. It's gonna be a long play. Let's go. The first thing I want to do is get the emergency room set up, so I'm gonna build the floor plan for that. This hospital is completely made from my imagination. I have over 800 hours of gameplay in Project Hospital, and it's one of my favorite games to play. I'm less the build a box type of person and more go with the flow as I build, though I do like to keep things somewhat planned out. So here I'm just planning out where the entrance to the emergency room will be and how they will begin moving around the emergency room. Build these little tiny corridors to represent like where plants go, because the janitors can't actually get in there with the way that I build them, having glass. It just makes something pretty for the aesthetic of how I like to play the game and just generally build. I want there to be enough emergency rooms so that if an event happens in the game, which I believe I can turn on later, we'll find out, I'm gonna do them back to back and kind of have an open floor plan in the emergency department for ease of access. Here you can see there is going to be 10 of them that are 5 by 5. And I want all my hallways, a majority of them, to be 4 by 4, especially the main corridors. And I like to segment my hallways, which when you do this in the game, it shows like where, so one hallway section will be lit up if there's a person in it. I don't like the whole room to be lit up, and that's the way I decided to build it. And there is our doctor's office, which I want to also make sure we get a good sized nurse room for not only nurses that will help care for the patients, but those that will transport patients around the hospital for this department. I hope to plan it all out so that I don't have to go back and add too much. And then I thought this doctor office would actually do okay next to the entrance of the emergency room, because they're doctors just for the emergency room. And this also gives me the opportunity to get some of these observation rooms in here. I thought it would be pretty peaceful if I tried to do my audio recording outside, so if you hear wind chimes, that is what you are hearing. Hopefully you can hear me over them. I can't believe how well this floor plan worked out here, and you'll see by at the end I really like to make sure that I leave room for sidewalks and such around the entire building and not just the front. I like to treat it as a whole property and not just a plot. And I can actually squeeze in some more here, but I don't know how many. You'll see that I play with it for just a little bit here, but eventually I think I just decide on the 3. At this point, I just begin to realize that, yeah, I don't want to add too many more observation rooms. Just counting to see if I like the amount of patients that I could get in here, which I tried to fit 2 beds in every room. Make the rooms big enough to fit everything they need without it feeling overcrowded. Well, I decide that it might be time to also lay out the floor plan for the orthopedic floor, like where the surgeries and stuff will happen. Ultimately, I just don't yet. It's not quite time. My mind wasn't there. And because I thought I was going to build more doctor rooms, I thought it'd be best just to, well, stick to what I have right now and let it be. So that little corridor that I built ends up turning into, I believe, how you get to a bathroom. I think I turn it into a bathroom eventually. And that kind of corridor serves as I want it to serve as the main way into the entrance for the emergency to the orthopedic. pretty happy with the layout, but I figure the emergency room needs to have an elevator closer just in case, so that's where we end up putting it. And you can see I leave room on the side for sidewalks all around the property, which is why the floor plan for the rooms are not completely tucked against the plot. Now, I could consider playing more and earning more money, but at this point I thought, well, potentially I have enough cash to open up the emergency room, and so I begin building here the necessities, and I don't build it all, I just build the certain areas that I know I'm going to need for now. At the time, I thought that little corridor would serve as an area for some wheelchairs and gurneys, but it does turn into a bathroom later, as you'll see. And I also decided it might be a good idea to throw the pharmacy in, just because it could give us some more money. But first, I gotta build these other rooms. And I do plan to decorate them fully at some point, but for the purpose of keeping myself on a budget in this game and getting the hospital fully up and running, I build minimally at first and can expand as needed. My hospital is very weird, but as you'll see, it will eventually come together when I add all the other rooms and pieces. I just want to make sure we're not going over our budget or going into debt. Red is a little too much for me, so I thought going with an orange would be nice. And of course we'll stick to the same theme as the rest of our hospital when it comes to how we've been decorating the walls and such, and floors. In the staff room, you can see I put a black floor. The reason for that is so that I can kind of hide the room. It doesn't jump out so much as the other rooms that can get cluttered with doctor stuff. I want to be able to check in on which doctors are taking a break and doing their jobs. So here I am just putting in the doors to the certain rooms first. am leaving the floor plan a bit open with all these windows and parts of walls that aren't fully filled in. I want the doctors to be able to just observe what's going on and not hide the patient's severity, though these more observational rooms can be private since nurses go in and check on them. And I thought the one door might be okay, but since I'm doing the double door, especially throughout emergency, I'll just keep it the same. Since we were getting low on money, I figured I might as well finish off what I can of the emergency room by adding the pharmacy. The pharmacy might give us more money, and the emergency room was too expensive to build at this point with all the equipment it requires. I'm keeping the pharmacy the same color as the main gate of the hospital, this kind of aqua color. I really like this color. that the pharmacy is done, we're gonna hire some staff to go in here. One staff should do for now. And we're gonna make them day staff. And she was the lowest level. I thought going with her, but then I find new candidates. So I want to get a pretty low level one that has good skills. She looked good to me, so we're gonna hire her. And I'm just gonna speed up the day here, get through the night. Nothing's happening in the clinic tonight. I usually try and check for patients in the ER, but we don't have an ER right now. Here we are in the daytime, and everyone's coming in, doing shift exchange. To play another day so that I can keep earning an income. I don't want to do any of my gameplay off camera. I'd much rather show you my process of how I play the game. And here we are getting our first patient, it appears. Able to diagnose it right away, great. So we'll treat them and perform the treatments for any medium discomforts and send them home. There's so many patients that come in. We get, easy one. We get plenty of patients throughout the day with so many different issues that they need different departments, and it looks like she can't be treated in that department, so put her in orthopedy and treat her. This Rachel Lee. Speaking of treatment, I was recently just in the hospital myself because, a little bit about me, I have struggles with my own health. I am currently in end-stage liver disease, waiting on the transplant list for a new liver, and some days are harder than others, so I apologize for the lack of uploads since when I first started. I also plan to record other videos and edit those in a timely manner, but of course I can't promise an upload schedule as my schedule may be changing very soon. And I want to play more games. I want to do games like Prison Architect, City Skylines 2, Town to City, Deep Rock Galactic, Played Up. I'm mostly a single player person, but I really enjoy games overall and also art, so you might see me upload occasionally different playlists and also Minecraft. But I really would like to expand what games I'm playing, and you should see that come up in the future. I keep having this insurance on the side that says, on the left side, you can see under events, it says enable hospitalization at emergency. That is our current goal, and our next goal is correctly diagnose patients of controlled doctors in intern mode, 0 out of 10. I have 2 controlled doctors at the moment, my doctor, Katie Green, and William Anderson, but it seems that even though, he's an intern and she's an attending, I want to keep Katie Green on my controlled doctors list, as well as William Anderson, because he is an intern. But if you know how to complete that correctly diagnosed patients of controlled doctors in intern mode 0 out of 10, please let me know down below. I haven't been able to figure that out since the goal first started. I tried playing around with it a little bit in controlled patients and doctors' patients, but it doesn't seem to change. I like starting with the orthopedic department because it's one of the easier ones in diagnosing, but also it goes right hand in hand with what you already have built previously, needing the x-ray machine and other things like that. The game typically tells you to build radiology in the beginning, so if you do orthopedic after as your first department when you open radiology, you really get to start using the radiology clinic for some of these overall fractures and bone breakages that you can't completely solve. You get use instead of having to build a whole new department or anything like that. I think the next department I want to go with the cultures a little bit more, like the blood work. If you know what department that is attached to, let me know. I will try looking into that a little bit myself in my spare time. Something else you may see occasionally uploaded on my channel is, outside of health updates and gaming, is speed paints. I've been a digital artist for over a decade, and I'm self-taught. I do all my work from imagination. I don't really use much reference. I've gained a lot of skill in anatomy from drawing classes and other things like that. The number of patients that get diagnosed by each doctor, I like to check that. It helps me see how many patients are flowing through the system for each doctor, and it looks like right now we've treated 13 out of 20 patients, which isn't too bad. And we're almost done with the day. We have like 3 or 4 hours left of our doctor's time. I'm pretty sure I've gone AFK here, and all my audio recording is done after for this video. I hope to change that in the near future, where I'm doing voiceover during the recording. It would just make it a lot easier. So we'll see. It appears that I'm AFK at the moment. I'm also a mom, so I do go AFK occasionally, but those are short-lived. Thank you for your patience. It would probably be a good time to drink some water, or have a snack. There we go. Now we'll continue diagnosing. She is treated and ready to go home. Look at those active treatments. Beautiful. When it comes to available examinations, I like to play the game in a way where the patients only are examined for what they absolutely need. And sometimes I don't reveal all the symptoms because they still get treated for those things regardless, especially at this stage in the game. Probably later on I'll be upgrading my hospital to be more thorough with their diagnosis and symptom management for patients. There's no clear diagnosis. Come on, let's see it. Did I go AFK again? Here we go. Let's see what is going on with her. This Sarah White. Maybe she's related to Walter White. I've been playing the new Tomodachi Living the Dream game, and one of the islanders I have is Walter White. I'm really enjoying that game right now. This patient needs more diagnosis options, but we don't have the lab for that, and so I'm gonna build that, it looks like. Medical laboratory, the hematology. I usually build my labs in a way where I can fit in eventually two of the doctors in here, so they can, one can go on break and the other can keep working if possible. Just get all the equipment in here and get it set up. Even though not all objects are needed to be functional in this room, I like to play in a role-play way where I imagine they would wash their hands or, use the equipment that I set up in here other than what's necessarily needed. I'm quite the aesthetic person when it comes to these kinds of games. I enjoy making it look nice, if you will, and another videos you'll see coming up eventually are Sims 4 videos. I really like to build houses as well as do gameplay. So if you have any suggestions for other games that you'd like to see that are kind of in this genre, like I've suggested the games I want to play as well as Stardew Valley, let me know down below. We're gonna hire someone here. I want to get someone low level that isn't gonna be too bad with their traits, but of course since it's a lab I don't mind if they have a longer drive distance. Usually they're not needed directly, like first thing for our patients. And there she goes. She's getting, you could see that our last girl was in the waiting room. And now, okay, so I'm not sure what to do with that serological sampling, but I do know it is not going to be infectious disease influenza A because I don't have that department open, and the insurances in this game do not send you patients that are outside of your department. That is one thing I do like about this game. You're only receiving patients from the departments that you currently have, and that's why orthopedy is so nice as one of the first ones. You're already utilizing all these different technologies that will then help you later in the other necessary departments. I think a really good department to have next would be either generally the intensive care unit will definitely need to be put in there as the next type of main part of the hospital after the rest of the orthopedic building is complete, but like hospitalization, but ICU will be after that realistically. Procedures have finished for this patient. Let's see what they found. Nothing new here, but I can rule out that it is this emergency one here, the iron deficiency anemia, because Sarah White does not, we don't have a department for her to go to, the other department for her to go to, and she is ready to go home. Our day will be wrapping up here shortly with our doctors, I believe, and we've treated all our patients. So the video is going to come to an end here in a moment. We'll just get through the rest of the day, and let's see how we did. Oh, right. They go to, I believe they go till 19 or 20 on the clock, which is kind of weird to me. I think it's like, I don't understand that fully. This all looks pretty good from what I can tell. And 5-star, 5-star. Okay. Thank you for watching my video. I hope you enjoyed, and I will see you next time. Bye.